get down to it, a quick reminder that if you want things in your inbox, we'll put things in your inbox with the Hump Day News newsletter. It's a regular wrap-up of coverage past and content to come, with links, tips, taters, and tots, served up fresh, nice, and hot. And if you're subscribed to the newsletter but not signed up for the Backyard, shame on you. The Backyard is a members-only area at Hump Day News where you'll find all that's best and bizarre at HDN.
Okay, hello everybody. I am here with Emily, and we are going to be discussing 2024 fashion trends
Let's
as
do
projected by Glamour magazine.
it.
How are you today, Emily?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. So, this is our first time ever doing this, and it's quite an experiment. We're excited. Um, Just a little caveat to say that these are just our opinions. We are not fashion experts. Neither of us are professionals in the fashion industry. We are just two people who like to banter and share our opinions. And yeah, just don't come for us, folks.
Okay, it's okay to like ugly clothes. It's totally fine.
People
I'm
like ugly clothes all the time.
like ugly
And
anything. It's totally fine. No judgment as to your taste or whatever. But yes, let's
so
rock.
I guess we'll start with our predictions for 2024. I think
Mhm.
since the pandemic, there's been a lot of ups and downs fashion wise in America.
Mhm.
Innovations, retirements of certain trends, new things emerging. Emily, do you have any predictions what we might see more or less of in the coming year?
I would love it. This is maybe wishful thinking, but I would love it if people started wearing clothes that fit again. And by fit, I mean that are fitted. Like, so the other day I was watching with some friends. It's a few days after the New Year, so we were watching the Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen CNN New Year's special. And they looked great, of course. They're two fashionable gay men, so they looked fabulous, but all of the musical acts looked like shit. And I'm thinking in particular, there was this very bad, I highly recommend if you haven't seen it to go watch it. The worst musical performance I think I've ever seen by a professional musician, which was by Maroon 5. It was bad. He's bad. Adam Levine is bad. Everything about them is bad. But what was the worst about him, aside from him singing out of key and just, being shitty, was that he was dressed like not even a homeless person. Because like I've seen homeless people that like have it kind of pulled together. They have a sense of style. He was dressed like he had been through a wood chip, or he was wearing like oversized, like almost Jinko jeans that were torn up, like a Hawaiian shirt that looked like it had been through like a paper shredder, and like an oversized denim jacket. And it just kind of for me was just the platonic ideal of the way we've been dressing just as a society for the past 3 years, which is just sloppy and oversized and baggy. And I'm done with it. I don't care. I understand that it's comfortable. I understand that, it's good for a lot of different body types. You know what also is comfortable and good for a lot of different body types is wearing clothes that fit. Like, let's go back to looking good. Let's go back to looking beautiful and aesthetic. Let's stop looking sloppy. The pandemic is over. We're leaving our houses. I want to see people that like look good.
It's funny that you should say this because I wrote down my predictions, and my
Hmm.
very first prediction was bye bye baggy.
Yes.
I think people are ready to show the bod a little more. I think the young people out there are tired of all the fabric, particularly with denim. You know,
Ugh.
if you're a millennial, you really suffered through the reality of wearing baggy pants in rainy or snowy weather. It's pretty awful.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I agree. I think we're going to see a lot less. And also to add to that, just chunky everything. We are seeing a lot of chunky pants with chunky shoes. I think we're seeing going to see a leaner look in
So
2020.
heavy. Everything is so heavy right now. Like I agree with you about the chunky shoes. It's just I stop. Like Olivia Rodrigo does this a lot. Like because she's this willowy, beautiful, long-legged woman. And then she's just wearing these shoes that look like hooves. And it makes her look like a Bratz doll, like in that weird, like bottom heavy way that Bratz dolls were. And I just find it very unaesthetic. It's very, I don't know, that there's something very kind of sinister about it. Like, let's go back to looking good.
And I think this also falls into my other prediction is that we're going to see less 90s and more 80s. And I think everything we've just described matches onto that. 80s was a time of highly structured looks, pointed shoes, pointed shoulders, no baggy and to be heard or seen of.
Please let's go back to the 80s. The 90s were good in some ways, but not fashion wise.
I think, it's been about 8 or 9 years of 90s. If anybody was tuning in to the Kardashians, they witnessed the epic Dolce and Gabbana wedding fight between the two sisters.
Yes.
I won't describe the whole fight, but I think it was sort of like, to me, it was like, this is the nail in the coffin on 90s revival in fashion, watching these two people fight about this.
Now I gotta ask, just because, we are millennials and we've seen the sort of the sort of pendulum of fashion swinging back and forth between modest and sort of skimpy, between baggy and tight. Logically, with all of these horrible Zoomers crawling around, wouldn't we logically start to possibly start seeing an early 2000s revival, which would be a nightmare for everybody? Like exposed thongs, lower back tattoos, like even more low rise jeans, even more crop top stuff. Wouldn't we? I mean, I would love it if that weren't true. I would love it if we could all just agree that we can leave this in the dumpster of history. But I don't know, like these, people who are like 18, 17, 18, 19 now, like they're looking back on Britney Spears, they're in the K-pop, so maybe they start to look at the Backstreet Boys and they say, "Oh, that looked so good. That was such a great time before 9/11." And they'd be wrong, but I could see a universe in which that happens. And then
We're,
and then we have to deal with that for like 5 years before everybody
yeah,
bad.
we've already seen the resurgence of the low rise, though I think that was a little overhyped. I think you read a lot about low rise jeans making a comeback, but
I don't think they look good on enough people to really.
they're just not practical.
No.
Okay, I am going to pull up this article
Yes.
by Glamour magazine,
Okay.
and it is entitled,
Are?
"These are the 2024 fashion trends you should know and shop now."
Okay. We scroll down. I want to see these women. Okay.
So
Not sure what I'm
we'll
looking at here.
we got descriptions down below, so we'll just go
Okay.
down the line.
Okay.
The
Okay.
first one up is girlcore, which
okay.
is sort of this tutu-esque sort of ballerina girl, highly femme, lots of pink lace. They
Ooh.
describe it as everything is currently covered in bows, and we're certain that they're going to get even more popular as 2024 fashion trends take shape. We also saw countless rosettes, ribbons, and ruffles on the spring runways, meaning we're in for a year of feminine, girlish fashion. Calling
Ooh.
it girlcore. What do we think?
Why can't we just call it feminine? Because I like this. I have nothing, I mean, I have to admit, I'm extremely generally in my day-to-day life, I'm pretty androgynous. I always have been, but I love the older I get, and especially, I've got this new house, I've been furnishing a lot. I love feminine stuff. And recently I feel like we've been kind of, I don't know, not even we've been feminine girly has become this sort of pejorative thing. Everything is sort of gender neutral or non-binary. I am so fine with bringing back girly stuff because I love girly stuff. I like pink. I like flowers. I'm not sure much. I don't know how I feel about rosettes and ribbons and ruffles, but I am very fine with bringing back sort of this very like sort of delicate, traditionally feminine look. I think that's great. I think that ties into, wanting things to be more fitted and more flattering. So I'm all for this. Let's do it. Let's put
Okay,
women
interesting. That was not the response I was expecting. I think you're right that um, fashion trends for women have been leaning very androgynous in recent years. Lots of like Coco Chanel sort of tradition, menswear for women looks have been very popular. A lot less sort of flouncy dresses and skirts, pinks, of course, things like bows and rosettes. You don't haven't it's not been as
Yeah.
dominant, I would say. For me, this isn't my thing at all. And I have trouble envisioning this kind of stuff on adult women in everyday life.
Oh
But I
yeah.
do appreciate sort of the pivot.
This does strike me as a slightly younger trend. Um, I don't know. I think it could be made to work. I mean, without maybe it might, you have to kind of work to make it not look sort of mother of the bride-ish. But just stuff like, what I'm seeing here is just pink. Pink is a good color. Women look good in pink. Lots of people look good in pink, not even just women. I'm seeing, cardigans, I'm seeing tights, I'm seeing sort of Oxfords. Like this, I mean, the way it appears on, the runway is often very stylized, and sort of the way it trickles down tends to look a little bit different. But I think the elements of this, I think, are great, and I'm all for it.
All right, moving on.
Yes.
Next one, sequined everything.
Ooh,
Kind of goes without saying.
yeah.
Another repeated motif on the 2024 runways has been high shine, especially sequins. Once relegated to New Year's Eve outfits, I can't pronounce that even though I do speak French,
Payette? Payette?
paillettes are
Payette?
now showing up in looks destined both for the dance floor and the office. Why not make this your flashiest year yet?
So a paillette is like, I think, a see-through sequin. I want
Okay.
to say slightly larger. Like, okay, anyway, it's a type of sparkly thing. Um,
Yes, we're
no,
sparkling.
nobody, please don't wear sequins to the office. Please don't do that. I don't,
I
yeah. What do you
I
think?
like the idea of like a surprise top for a dinner where you're not hitting the club,
Or-
but that's not all that far off from like say a New Year's Eve
Right.
occasion where for the office I think I 100% agree.
It's literally flashy. Like it causes flashes of light, and I don't want to deal with that. Also, just I don't know. I've never sequins as a just practically they poke, they scratch, they come off. It's hard to launder. I don't know. I agree. It's one thing to have it like on your clutch or on a one item of your clothing, but I don't know. I cannot picture the woman wearing, sequins to the office or just in her day-to-day life. It's to me, it strikes me as a little silly.
I agree. Like the woman sitting at like her desk having a salad at the office at 12:30,
Yeah, and also
like on a
sequins
Zoom
make
call.
noise. People forget that sequins do make noise when you're like they crunch and they crack and they make sort of plasticky noises. It's not a practical way to dress. And I'm, nothing against, impracticality, but it's just I no, please don't put sequins on everything. I vacuum enough as it is.
Well, we invite other opinions, but I would agree with Emily's take on this one.
Mm.
All right. Next one. I kind of like this one. Prep
No.
school.
Oh, this is trauma. This is
Uh,
generate. This is just epigenetic trauma.
so the description is Miu Miu's spring runway was like a new episode of Gossip Girl or a peek at the students who were actually having fun in Saltburn. And tons of other brands featured models dawn up in preppy athletic styling. In the new year, we're excited to play with that relaxed, moneyed aesthetic by stocking up on striped button downs, polo shirts, academic blazers, and outdoorsy sandals.
Have you seen
So
Self yet?
I have.
Oh, is it good? Is it good? I like keep hearing different things that it's like insane and unhinged and batshit. I
I'll
like
have
all.
to
Yeah, sorry.
we'll have to talk about it offline because I do
Okay.
have thoughts. I think
Okay.
it's okay.
I
It's
like
not,
Barry Keegan a lot.
yeah. No, the
Okay.
acting's good.
Okay. Okay. So,
So
God.
I feel like every sort of 5, 6 years, our culture, we turn over what kind of sort of wealthware we're
Mm,
into. So, the
mm,
last 5, 6 years, we've had Succession, and that whole quiet luxury thing
yeah.
has been the dominant way to sort of pretend you're a very wealthy person.
Yes.
This article is claiming that the new version will be that sort of like it's kind of a 90s thing, really.
It
That
is. Polos.
athletic, yeah, rugby shirts and, kind of like the Abercrombie and Fitch thing.
Is Tommy Hilfiger still around? Remember when Tommy Hilfiger was everything?
That yellow coat, not
Loved it.
die. It
Loved
was
it.
awesome, but man, every dad in the suburbs of Chicago where I grew up wore that thing. All right, what do we think, Emily?
Um, well, I don't know. What I think of as like prep school is a little bit different from these images, which obviously the listener can't see. I mean, preppy is, I think that's kind of a timeless look. If it weren't timeless, like J. Crew would have gone out of business, 25 years ago. I mean, I don't know. I like preppy in theory. I guess this is to me not something that went anywhere. Like button-up shirts have always been around, rugby shirts have always been around. Maybe it's just kind of the crowds that I run in, but this has not gone anywhere for me.
Agreed, it's been around. And I think it's also interesting to think about how it is kind of costume wear. Because
Mm,
let's face it, most of us are not playing lacrosse at 5 nights a week, at a prep school environment.
no,
Like it
no.
is sort of interesting to think that working adults um, sort of wander around dressed up like they live a completely different life than they probably do. But I think the aesthetic is cool.
I like the aesthetic. I guess I don't know. On some level, I feel like the prep school look is a brand thing more than an actual look thing. It's just, I don't know. It like to me, this is kind of mostly indistinguishable from like a kind of professional, affluent office look, like a business look. I mean, is somebody who wears like a Brooks Brothers suit, like, is that prep school? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I don't understand fashion. I probably don't. I like preppy. I guess that's my bottom line. I like it. It to me it comes back to looking neat and flattering. I think it looks good on everybody. It's got tailoring, so I think this is a positive development. If it's becoming a larger, more popular sort of trend, then great. Everybody will rising tide lifts all boats.
All right. Yeah. And I think it has that, with the current season of The Crown having just dropped, it has that sort of
Oh yeah.
British royal family kind of William and Harry and Diana, like chic,
God, I should watch
casual
that too. Shoot,
quality.
so much stuff I haven't watched.
All right. This one I found baffling.
Oh,
The
okay.
non-basic basics. And just to describe
The
to the
hell?
listeners, these are basically just sort of basic pieces that have interesting tailoring or unexpected tailoring. So they describe it as something that Carolyn Bassett Kennedy sort of inspired,
Yeah, okay.
um, adjacent to quiet luxury, simple and chic. They don't really describe what these pieces are, but it's like, for
Yeah,
instance,
somebody had a word count to meet.
yeah, the
Wait,
description
okay,
doesn't.
let me read that paragraph again and I'm going to do some deep analysis, some deep master's degree analysis things. Uh, okay, I don't know enough about Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. I'm guessing she's a rich New England woman who is, I think, married to JFK Jr., if I'm not mistaken. Somewhat adjacent to quiet luxury. Okay, so simple and chic. I like simple and chic. I don't non-basic basics. That just I don't know. This strikes me as somebody
This is
needed.
made up.
I mean it's it's not made up so much as it is like it's it's words without meaning.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I guess if we're talking about something like moving away from sort of fast fashion, Shein, that type of stuff to more high quality sort of statement pieces, that would be lovely. I hate fast fashion. I think it's terrible. I think it's bad for the environment. I think it doesn't look good. So if that's what this is about, sort of just, yeah, something that's sort of uh, understated, high quality, but without being flashy, that's great. I'm not sure that's what they're saying. I feel like if you ask somebody else, they might interpret this differently.
No, I
Um,
think you're right. I would just also add it's like these basic pieces with a really surprising element. So like
right.
this button-up shirt that has it's a white button-up, very sort of pedestrian, but it first of all doesn't have a collar and the sleeves are kind of enormous.
Yeah, it
Or
it makes I mean I don't know. I
or a
I
black knit sweater
I
that
like
is
that
off the shoulder at the clavicle with slits, horizontal
all the way down.
slits, give
Yeah,
them all the way down, like
I
instead
like
of
that.
just a black.
Yeah.
Maybe,
But
maybe I'm liking this.
are you warming to this? I kind of I like the yeah, I do I like the idea of having, of clothes that are unexpected. Something they're basic, but then you like look at them twice and they're like, oh, this is doing something different. I'm not sure I certainly can't imagine like seeing anybody on the street wearing this sweater. Though I love the idea of it. Um, so yeah, let's put that in the I think this is good, but I'm not sure bin, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see at the end of the year if we
Such
hear
a
more
broad
about this.
definition that it could be both good and bad, I guess.
Okay. C-suite chic. I think
Yes.
it speaks for itself. It's a bit of executive realness going on, folks. Our
Yes.
favorite winter 2023 fashion trends included power dressing, and we're expecting to see much more of it in the coming year. Channel your inner executive and pick up a tailored blazer or an office ready dress, then pretend like you have your life in order.
Yes.
uh,
This is good. This is the
we're
success
for this.
thing, like you were saying, right? I would wear any of this. This is all
The
good.
80s. Yeah, the
Right,
big
yeah.
shoulder.
Powerful. It's very, yeah, I don't know. It's powerful. It looks good. Some of this stuff that I'm seeing is a little baggy. It's a little bit masculine. I would like it if we went a little bit more towards tailored suits. Like I like that Ferragamo look. That's a great one. Um,
Yeah.
I'm very pro suits. I think everyone looks good in a suit. So let's do it. Whether it's a skirt suit or a pantsuit or just, a blazer of any kind, the pointy shoes. I would love to see, I gotta say, I would love to see tights make a return, like pantyhose. I don't know. I've always liked them. I know that like women don't wear them anymore, but I've always liked them. I think they make you look really put together. I've seen a few examples of outfits here that have tights and pantyhose on them, and I'm very pro that. Bring
I couldn't
those,
agree
bring back,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, the C-suite chic, me and Emily used to work together, and on Mondays when I was at my lowest, I would put on what I called my power suit for the day. And it really did lift me. That suit carried me. It was like putting on Superman's outfit, It was like even if you are not in the C-suite, which I most certainly wasn't, uh it just there's a magic to a woman in a suit, I think, and a man.
Yeah, you feel better. Like your soul knows that you look good. And that has a compiling effect. It's good. So, and I think maybe one of the reasons, I don't know, this is one of these opinions that I have that I'm sure you have that is based on absolutely nothing except vibes. I have done absolutely nothing to research it. I refuse to research it. It is based on nothing, but I have a feeling that one of the reasons that everybody nowadays is so mentally ill and anxious and depressed and traumatized and, alcoholic and addicted to drugs is because we're all dressing like slobs. Like we don't feel good because in our heart, we know that we don't look good. So I think if we all just, picked ourselves up, like pulled ourselves off the couch, took a shower, dried our hair, put on an outfit that fits and that we look good in, and everybody has one. And if you don't, you can get one. There are very few people on this planet who do not have an outfit that looks good on them. I think we all need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and start dressing better, and then a lot of our issues will be taken care of.
I think there's a kernel of truth to that.
Yeah, that is my utterly unscientific opinion.
I'm going to skip this one and move on to the next.
Okay.
Because I'm interested in this.
Okay.
This one is extra large bags. We have Succession to thank for the name Ludicrously Capacious Bags, which was a great line from the character Tom. But labels like Stella McCartney, Tibby, and Victoria Beckham to thank for adding them to their spring collections. So we've seen some large bags on the runway. Start doing your shoulder exercises now. Pick up an oversized designer bag from Coach or Tory Burch, or the rest of your group chat does. Now, I love an oversized bag. I was obsessed with the Olsen twins as a teenager, and they always had if not one, two large Balenciaga bags full of crap, just totally full of crap when they were traipsing around NYU.
Yeah, it was like half the size of them. It was great.
Yes. So what do you think?
I am not much of a bag person. I carry a backpack. If I carry anything at all. I love the idea of a bag, but I've never been a person who carries a bag around. I do like the Olsen twin look of just looking like a really sexy, like daddy long legs. I love that look. And I loved their gigantic bags that they could like hide themselves.
That is going to be the name of this episode.
Yeah, I think that's a great look. I wish I had that body type or that commitment to an eating disorder, but I don't. But I don't know. I'm again, I feel like this is a practicality question more than anything. The more space that's in your bag, the more crap you can put in your bag, and that makes it a more useful bag. So yeah, I'm pro this. It's not something that will have any effect on my life. But the more shit that you can carry with yourself, the more ready you are for, when the marauders come. So go for it.
That's a good take. I think, per Tom's comment about the ludicrously capacious bag, I think we've had this movement toward teeny tiny bags.
Yeah.
In recent years. And it is kind of about this idea that if you have stuff on your person, you're somehow a messy person, or you're even worse, a poor person, that you schlep. And, as somebody who's an urban dweller, I'm all about schlepping. And I think when I have a bag almost just like this, a Kate Spade black leather tote. And whenever I have it with me, I could be wearing a sweatsuit. And I just feel like it's just a nice touch. It balances it all out. Is it, filled to the brim with crap? No, it probably doesn't need to be as big as it is, but I like the look and I like the structure.
Yeah, it's a nice looking bag. And it's true that, a nice bag does add something. I think it's nice. Oh, Jesus, I like this one.
All right, we have to do this one to close out.
This is insane.
You want to read?
Yes, Into the Deep. And I'm seeing a model who is basically normal looking, just wearing kind of a strapless black evening gown, except she is wearing a statement necklace that has a pendant on it that is a life-size golden lobster.
It's about a foot long. This lobster necklace.
It is quite literally the size of an actual lobster that this woman is wearing around her neck. Okay, let's see. Mermaid Core had a major moment in 2023, and we aren't headed for dry land just yet. Lobster motifs were spotted at Schiaparelli Spring 2024. Zendaya already wore a look from the collection, while Mugler's collection was inspired by an array of marine life, such as jellyfish. I like this. I am not from New England, but I spent a good part of my adulthood there. I have a certain affinity for marine life. So you know what? Let's do it. Let's have mermaid core again.
Yeah, I think it's good. You need accents, you need just little fun things all the time. Not
Bring
all the
back
time, but
Lisa Frank. Remember Lisa Frank? Bring back Lisa.
yes.
Bring back like shiny, colorful dolphins and stuff like that. Let's just go
Yes.
all in.
And at a time when the oceans are in such a vulnerable state, it's
Yeah,
nice to celebrate marine life. And I don't
exactly.
think, they're not making an argument that people are going to be decked head to toe in mermaid core. It's just for accent. And I
It's
think it's great.
mermaids are girly. They're beautiful. I love mermaids. So yes, let's do it.
All right, we're not going to do a deep dive on this last one, but I just want to
Okay.
say they did mention 80s excess.
Yes.
That idea of these more structured, really bold black and white looks and a little less like kind of baggy mess that we've had for so long now.
Yes, I like
Um,
that a lot.
yeah, so here's to pointy shoulders coming
Yes.
back,
Bring back pointy
and
shoulders. That was such a great look.
the pointy shoulders,
Back Jane Bennis. Bring back like just bring back blazers in general.
yeah, and I kind of think we're gonna see like a renaissance of 80s, all things 80s, even like in music and film. I
Yes.
wouldn't be surprised if, we already got a Blade Runner remake from Denis Villeneuve recently. I wouldn't be surprised if we see other ways in which the 80s kind of come back to our culture.
Oh, yeah, you better be careful with that. Be careful what you wish for.
It's true that we do not want the politics. Stay away, Reaganism.
No, we don't want the politics. I don't know. There's some movies too. I don't know. I like Blade Runner. I don't know. We'll see another Ferris Bueller's Day Off with like Ferris's son. It's
Oh
gonna be bad.
dear.
Yeah.
That would not be good.
No, that would not be good.
All right, folks. Well, that has been our wrap up of 2024 predictions. We will be back for either a spring or summer edition to look at what's coming out in the warmer months. Until then, everybody stay warm, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of the winter.
Bye. Mwah.
Thanks for joining. Visit us at the site at humpday.news for good junk in art, politics, sports, and culture. Follow us on our socials, subscribe to the newsletter, sign up for the backyard, and for the love of God, remember, every day is hump day.
I don't need a home address, got a little homie, yes. That's why I ain't flown the nest. That's why I ain't flown the